What's up, guys? JDB Sports here for the Final Whistle podcast for our AFC West edition. We're back this week, going over the AFC West. We went over the AFC East last week, so if y'all wanted to see that, go ahead to our YouTube. It'll be right there for you, or TikTok, or Instagram, anywhere you follow us and anywhere you get podcasts. We're going to start moving into that market. So, Peyton, you want to start it up while I get my notes the rest of the way up here?
Yeah, no worries. I'll start with the breaking news just to kind of get this out of the way. Deebo Samuel,
yeah, Commander.
Washington Commander,
Didn't
round pick.
Didn't want him, but the deal was too good. Was too good for literally a bag of chips. Not even the good Fritos. Twist, the chili cheese twists.
Bottom of the barrel. You find them in the party pack, and you don't want to eat them. But, I mean, I think this is a good fit for Deebo. He really thrives in the screen game, and Washington's offense is really predicated around creative screens, getting people out in space and working from there. The quick passing game.
And he's he's a good gadget guy, too. So, if you ever need him for that.
Exactly. And I think they'll get more creative just outside the screening game with him. I think they'll drop some more opportunities. And, again, I think this is a slam dunk deal for Washington, who can overspend a little bit right now to kind of check the temperature for the next couple seasons, while Jaden's on a rookie deal and striving to go even further than last year. So huge ups for them there. And then other piece of news is Trey Smith being tagged by the Kansas City Chiefs, them retaining one of their best O-linemen, solidifying that front. And trying to avenge what happened to them in that Eagles game with how demolished that offensive line was.
Yeah, that offensive line looked like high school back in that Super Bowl. Crazy to say, ridiculous. They definitely got to solidify that, whether in the draft or whether it's scheme-based. The Eagles just had all the answers. But let's get ahead into the Chiefs, actually. We'll talk about them in our first segment, the first part of the AFC West edition that we got going on here. So if you're an AFC West fan, stick around. If you're a sports fan, stick around. We have some insight topics. Drop your comments down below, and we'll get to them. So we'll start with the Chiefs right now. Their team needs, in my opinion, a running back, wide receiver, and lineman. Or some depth pieces, some good pieces. Key free agents are Marquise Brown, in my opinion, Mecole Hardman, D-Hop, and Kareem Hunt. Potential cuts, there's a lot of minuscule ones since they're 15 mil over the cap, I believe. So, I said a lot of minuscule cuts like, Sean Bradley or Tyquan Thornton. But, if they want to get under the cap in one swift move, then maybe they look at Trey Smith as far as extending him to, get a better deal cap it wise. We talked about that before stream. So, my opinion for that team, potential signings would look like Brandon Cooks or Nick Westbrook-Akine on a team-friendly deal. I can also see them, staying dormant until the draft, if that's a, secondary move that they got going on instead of them really hitting free agency, like other teams probably will, like the Raiders. So,
yeah, no, and I definitely agree with you there. Touched on pretty much all free agents I had here. A couple others that are worth mentioning. Justin Reed, their best safety. He's a free agent, and I don't know if he'll re-sign just because of the deal he's looking for. Probably around $8 to $10 million a year for him. Tershawn Wharton, a great defensive lineman that they pair with Chris Jones, allowing them to do a lot of stunt work, free up Chris Jones one-on-ones. And then Nick Bolton, their best linebacker. Losing him, he's the captain of their defense. Puts a lot of responsibility on people like George Karlaftis, 30-year man Leo Chenal, more responsibility on Chris Jones in general. So I think linebacker and safety are honestly bigger needs than anything else. I do think the receiver issue is true. Rashee Rice coming back should help that out a little bit, and Kelsey getting older doesn't help.
I got to see what they're going to do with him too, as far as Kelsey goes, because he does want to come back and play, but at the same time, when do you guys start grooming, a tight end to take his place when he eventually does retire, which will probably be at the end of next season, maybe, depending on how far they go.
Yeah, I think he runs it back one more season. I'm not too big of a fan of this tight end class, in all honesty, in the draft, and I'm not too big of a fan of this free agency class either, as far as tight ends go. So unfortunately, with the cap situation the Chiefs are in, I would say wait. I would look towards other positions of need. Linebackers specifically, I'm looking at for him. Christian Roseboom from the Rams, really impressive year. He made an impact on that defense that was top 5, I would say, the back half of the year. Jamie Sherwood from the Jets, I know they want to re-sign him. However, he could want to take on a bigger role, start calling more on the defense. Um, and then a couple wide receivers that I haven't touched on yet, Mac Hollins and Tim Patrick, a couple veterans, really good at the catch point. I think they kind of need a DeAndre Hopkins light, if that makes sense. Someone who can just make plays at the catch point, not someone too dynamic after the catch, because they have Rasheed for that.
Anything else we got to say about the Chiefs before we go ahead and move on? Hit the Broncos next and see what's up. Someone who actually has cap space.
Yeah. No, let's just hop right into the Broncos.
All right, so they're 41 million over the cap. Well, under the cap, I should say. Team needs wide receiver and linebacker. For me, I say key free agents are Riley Dixon and Cody Barton as well. He had a solid year for them last year. He was a former Commander. He went to Denver and did some great things over there. A couple interception returns for a touchdown. Love to see it. I say you re-sign Dixon and Barton. Go get Amari Cooper for cheaper option, or Darius Slayton, from the Giants. Pair him with Cortland Sutton. Maybe have that as like a dynamic duo, and see as far as what goes throughout the draft and all that, and whatever they decide to do.
Yeah. No, I really like the Darius Slayton option there, just because he can play outside. He can play a little bit inside as well if you got to move him over in the slot. You saw how he played last year with Malik Neighbors out a couple games, and he really shined in a piss-poor offense. So I would really like that move. Cody Barton as a re-sign candidate, I love there, just because they really need a linebacker to pair with Nick Bonito, who's been insane, and they do run a 3-4 defense. So heavy linebackers and not having that depth could hurt him in the end. But I hold strong with you about the key free agents. Again, only one I would add was Jaquan McMillan on the cornerback side. They do have a lot of corners though. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss. So a good pairing there. I don't think it's the biggest need in the world. But I think tight end and running back are big needs of theirs too. You have Jaleel McLaughlin, who hasn't kind of gotten over that hump and everything per se, and this is a Sean Payton offense that is predicated on running backs and catching the ball. So yeah, I think they look towards someone like an Aaron Jones or a Rico Dowdle as pass catching backs who can kind of change the pace from their current backs, Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime, so on and so forth. I do think they keep it relatively cheap on the offensive side of the ball right now. Just to kind of see how Bo Nick can pan out in a second year, and then from there maybe take another step. But some options that I like as well, Jawan Johnson from the Saints. I feel like he's a really underrated tight end, especially out in space. And he had a pretty solid year with Spencer Rattler and Derek Carr throwing him the ball.
I was going to say, because it's literally piss poor, bottom of the barrel QB class. I mean, Derek Carr, not going to say much about him because he's been more or less injured, more injured than playing. And Spencer Rattler, we do not need to talk about Spencer Rattler, man. Oh man, but the fact that he still performed well, see what happens with him.
Yeah. Do you think the Broncos are better this year or worse?
Better than what exactly? There's not really much of a there's not really too much of a floor, right? I mean, they've been kind of garbage ever since their Super Bowl run back in 2015, right? And they weren't even great then. They were literally limping into the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. Everybody questioned his ability to be able to throw the football down the field and the way that offense performed, but somehow, some way, they still got it done with that nice defense. And Cam Newton just didn't want to jump on a fumble. Could have been way different. But
Well, I
what's
mean,
their
as far as
floor?
like playoff aspirations go, like, do you think they'll repeat, they'll make the playoffs this year, or do you think since the AFC is going to be a little bit healthier, a little more stacked, do you think the Broncos fall out in a tough division?
I think they're a fluke, no, but I think they sneak in like they did this year. They have to rely on a couple teams at the end down the stretch, and maybe sneak in as a 7 potentially again. I just don't like you said the AFC is healthier, and they have a tough division as it is. They really have to show in and show out to really get the ball going. But I believe they can get back. I'd say maybe sneaky 7, 6 seed if at the most. I don't think they're doing anything crazy. I don't think they're blowing the doors off of teams. I don't think they're going 12 wins in a row or anything like that. Nothing crazy. So
No, for sure.
I'd say they can go maybe like another 10-7, 11-6 possibly, depending on how their offense gels with Bo Nix in his second year. Uh, just gotta be worried about the sophomore slump. I just hope it doesn't affect him. I hope he still throws those dots to Mims like he was last year. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm kind of on the other side of the coin there. I don't think they make the playoffs next year. I do think their defense underperformed. I'm indifferent about Vance Joseph. I think sometimes he's good, sometimes he's a little over anxious and blitzes more than he should. And I really think if they don't get that linebacker position addressed really quickly, it's going to hurt that defense a lot more than it did last year.
because Cody was a 1 year deal, and I believe he's just a stopgap. He's nothing crazy. I mean, we got him from I believe Seattle when we signed him, and he was really only there for like a year or two, and that was it. He's more or less he's a bridge guy. They need to have somebody really step up behind him. I mean, I say re-sign him again, maybe like a 2 year team friendly deal or something, just until you can get something behind him. Because you're not going to go and start. I mean, you're not going to be like Philly and start rookies, like a bunch of rookies. I mean, but they start them on the back end. I'm saying like at linebacker, you're not going to draft a linebacker rookie, and then go and start them right away. It's a big part of their defense. That's the Mike linebacker, I believe, right? Cody Barton. He was the defensive captain, right? Or the defensive caller right there. You're not going to expect a rookie to come in and fill their shoes that quickly without some type of breakdowns.
Yeah.
So
no, I totally agree.
So want to talk about Chucky? Not Chucky. Raider Nation. Hey, speaking of Chucky, by the way, did you hear that John Gruden got reinstated in the Ring of Honor for the Buccaneers?
I did. He's getting a lot more social media coverage as of late, ever since being implemented in Barstool. So I think it's just his PR team working overtime and finding opportunities for him.
I enjoy watching his Barstool podcasts. I watched a couple last week. I think I was Washington versus Atlanta. He really breaks them down. He really gets into the nitty gritty, and I don't know. I love his passion, his energy. I mean, I'm not gonna say I like the things the racist things he said and things like that, but
of course,
I don't condone any of that nonsense. But him as a football coach, he actually knows what he's talking about. He's not gonna sit there and say, up in press conferences. He's gonna tell you. He's gonna get right up in your face and tell you.
Yeah,
and it seems like it seems like he likes to get on his players too. So if they need to, more or less a accountability coach.
No, 100%. And I mean, he didn't have the greatest coaching years with the Raiders, but again, that in the latter half of his coaching career. But again, I think that was more so to roster flaws and just not gelling. And, who knows, he might get another opportunity someday to be head coach.
I hope so. I mean, I'm not going to say that, I'm really pulling for him, but, I like seeing him on the sideline. I also liked him in Monday Night Football, too, with Mike Tirico. I feel like that was probably one of the better, announcer duos. I don't know what the hell they're doing now. I barely even be listening.
Here's a guy. He's like Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy.
Oh, he's looking like that's the sort of stuff we see out of Patrick Mahomes. Dude, did you see the memes? There's this one dude that literally takes on Collinsworth's persona, and literally it's like Chris Collinsworth as a Uber driver. He also does Tony Romo impressions too.
I might have somewhere in between. I can't recall as of right now.
I might have to send that to you off stream, of course, because that's hilarious. it's kind of cringe, but it's kind of right. You know what I'm saying? It's not terrible, but it's cringe for sure.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Like, his forward, well, his phrase are right. Now here's a guy, you see things just like out of well, it's sort of the same things that we see out of Patrick Mahomes. He'll start doing all that, then he'll start laughing like him and all that nonsense. It's crazy.
The Kermit laugh or the Chris Collinsworth laugh?
The Chris Collinsworth laugh, not the Kermit laugh.
That's funny.
And then when he does the Tony Romo, he goes, I don't know, Jim.
That kind of looked a little Mahomey to me, Jim.
Freaking Tony Romo, man.
Goodness.
All right, let's hit them Raiders with a 96 and a half million cap. Your favorite team, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Stinker.
Opposite.
I think team needs their quarterback, cornerback, offensive tackle, wide receiver, interior O-line. He needs the whole damn shebang. Right tackle, D tackle, guard, and linebacker.
Dang. I mean, my list is pretty long for needs for them too, but a little more lenient, I guess.
Y'all need everything. Potential signings. I mean, I didn't really have any key free agents to report. I mean, you may have some. Me personally, I didn't. Nothing jumped off the page for me. I mean, but I'm also the person who's picking punters and kickers and crap like that. So we love you, punters and kickers. Y'all do a lot for us. Y'all win games. We win games off y'all feet. So, not punters. Y'all hold. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Go get Sam Darnold. I believe that's not like a really high value. It's not the go get the Aaron Rodgers type or anything like that. No, go get Sam Darnold. See what he can do. Maybe look into Chris Godwin. Hit that offensive line in the draft. Look into picking up Jonathan Allen when the Commanders do release him. We talked about him not being a post June 1st cut, so they can get as much under that, or get as much of that money as they possibly can. So, what do you think about those Raiders? What do you think about the Raiders? What do you think about what they're doing? What do you got going on? What do you have over there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of room for flexibility and a lot of needs to be filled. So, kind of aligns perfectly for them. Again, I follow suit with you as far as the positional needs go, but I'll list out some really specific. I mean, obvious, we know quarterback, wide receiver, and running back, the three main offensive positions. I think those are their biggest needs to address. They need an offensive overhaul after a year of Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder, Aiden O'Connell, and a wide receiver core. I like Jacoby Myers. Trey Tucker is a good specialty guy, but there's no real alpha wide receiver one. There's no identity there for the Raiders. So again, getting Pete Carroll in there, getting Chip Kelly, finding a new identity, that's going to be their main focus. I follow suit with you with Sam Darnold, getting him. And I think most of their key free agents are on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side doesn't really hold anyone that I would be mad losing. But you got two big linebackers for them, Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo, being lost in free agency. So I really think that hurts their linebacker core. I do think their defensive front is great, but the three behind them aren't as good because Christian Wilkins coming back, Max Crosby coming back to full health, I think is going to be huge for them. You got Kuntz on the edge as well. And then as far as other key free agents for him go, Trayvon Merrick at safety. Actually had an emerging year after a couple years where he wasn't that solid, and injury riddled year for Nate Hobbs. I do still think he's a solid corner, so losing out on him kind of hurts there. I think they spend big in free agency at some of these key positions like quarterback, like running back. So again, Sam Darnold, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, also, I talked about him a little bit with the Broncos and kind of fitting in there. But with the really weak running back class and just wanting some change of pace, not rolling with Sincere McCormick and going with Aaron Jones would be huge. And I have a lot of vets that I would look for them to sign. Try to build the identity. I really like this idea when you have a lot of money to go out and seek veterans when you're trying to change the culture, when you're trying to get some sort of you know, you're trying to get Raider football back a little bit that you haven't had since before 2000.
2002-ish,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So someone like a Brandon Sheriff on the offensive line, because they really need a right guard. Someone like Rasul Douglas at corner.
I'd like to say Brandon Sheriff. I could speak on him. We had him, the Commanders. Brandon Sheriff, other than having his injuries every now and then, he was very reliable, very tough. He's really athletic. He really pushed people around too when he was with us. I don't know much about his time in Jacksonville. I haven't really been keeping up with him, but if he's as steady as he was back then yeah, that's definitely a good signing in my opinion with right guard. I feel like to go with offensive tackle at some point too, maybe in free agency.
I kind of like their tackle pairing.
Yeah.
Colton Miller, and then what's his name? He's their right tackle rookie they got last year. I don't know why I'm spacing on it, but he's a solid player. I can't remember his name in all honesty. So sorry, chat. But again, I think a solid duo there. I think more of the interior is where you're looking towards as far as that goes.
Is it Thayer Munford? Thayer Munford? No.
No, let me look up their depth chart real quickly, and I'll tell you exactly who it is. The name is on the top of my tongue. It's some funky name.
All right, for sure.
No, it's DJ Glaze.
DJ Glaze. Okay.
DJ Glaze.
So if you like them, is offensive tackle really much a need at that point? No, not really.
I think it's more guard centric.
Yeah.
I think they do need some work on that offensive line. However, their offensive line was top 12-ish last year, I would say, in terms of pass block win rate, run block win rate, key statistics you look at for a solid offensive line. But yeah, we talked about Cam Bynum last stream a little bit in wanting to go to, say, the Jets or some team like that, where they needed safety help. Even the Dolphins.
I don't have my notes. I don't remember. I don't have my notes. I don't remember. I think it was
It's either the Dolphins or the Jets.
Yeah, it was Dolphins or Jets for sure. I think it was the Jets. It was the Jets. Yeah, let me remember.
Yeah.
I usually keep my notes, but I didn't.
Solid for the Raiders, and people like Quandre Diggs, veteran safety. A lot of these guys I'm selecting for them are vets. And then you can go with the young guys in the draft. You already have your Brock Bowers, you have your franchise left tackle, and you have Max Crosby to anchor down that defense. So,
all right, well, we got the Raiders. Last but not least, right? Take it away, Mr. Charger.
Backwards, frontwards. LA. Well, shiz, dude. I mean, this is gonna be a big turning point to see if we can create a championship window for Justin Herbert after we couldn't do anything for him while he was on a rookie deal. A lot of cap and a lot of cap flexibility to come with certain cuts, like right tackle Trey Pipkins, defensive end Joey Bosa being a potential cut and saving more money there. But yeah, key free agents I'm looking at, there's not too many. People I left off are Morgan Moses. Troy Dye actually played really solid last year as well when Denzel Perryman was missing time, who's a free agent as well. Poona Ford, J.K. Dobbins, Khalil McIntyre, Tart are my main ones. Our defensive tackle room looks very, very weak without any of these guys, and maybe that's a position we address at 22, seeming like we're not going to re-sign both of our tackles. Positions of need, my biggest ones, off-rip, interior, offensive line. We both watched that Texans game. We both watched Justin Herbert get blitzed, insane, pressured on 53% of his dropbacks that game, and we are just getting tore up on the interior. So all positions, left guard, center, and right guard in the interior is what I'm looking towards mostly. But running back as well is a big need. I don't want to start the season with Gus Edwards. A cornerback is a big need, despite great years from Cam Hart, Tarheeb Still. Glad Christian Fulton is a free agent, because goodness gracious. And then obviously a receiver to pair with Ladd. If you don't go receiver, maybe a tight end to pair with Ladd. And then edge help, seeing that you're probably going to lose out on one, if not two, of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
You know, my important free agents were kind of the same, more or less aligned with yours, like we talked about before. Poona Ford, Troy Dye, J.K. Dobbins, Khalil Mack, and I said Taylor Heineke only for the fact that, you know, a backup in the system, one that's already been, you know, Taylor Heineke's already been there. You know, he's been under that Jim Harbaugh. Greg Roman's still there, right?
Yeah,
So that Greg Roman system, yeah, sorry to hear that, but that Greg Roman system, Taylor Heineke's there. He kind of has that playbook ready to go in case Jay Harbaugh goes down with an injury. Just like to say, I think Kendall Fuller fits nicely over there. I mean, either that or DJ Reed. Maybe make a strong push for Milton Williams or BJ Hill. Just something to, you know, really shore up that D tackle room. Like you were saying, it's very weak without Poona Ford and, you know, guys like Khalil Mack and stuff like that on that line. I say re-sign KJ Dobbins, wrong, KJ Osborne. Now, just kidding. J.K. Dobbins and Poona Ford and run it back. Hopefully, maybe see, you know, if you have to replace him with somebody like I think you were saying like that Osa guy from Dallas, right?
Yeah, Osa Odigizua, hard last name to pronounce for sure.
I'm not butchering that. I butcher enough names on live streams as it is, so we don't need to talk about that one. Yeah, I mean, that goes for a nice breakdown. Do you think any, as far as any free agents go, who do you have your eyes on as far as any type of free agents, like big time free agents going anywhere? Do you think Aaron Rodgers goes to the Giants, like like everybody was speculating? Giants apparently turned around, did a 180 on that, and actually, you know, considering taking flyers on Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about that?
I think they should just go full force with the youth movement. I don't think they should keep getting these veteran guys who are going to come in and maybe elevate your floor a little bit. I'm not saying tank, because that's not what, you know, set out to do or anything like that. But I mean, definitely just go the younger route. If you got to trade up for a quarterback you like this year, do it. If not, you have next year to draft your guy. And they have plenty of holes to fill, the Giants do. I just don't think reaching out for a vet like that would help that much. And then yeah, so we didn't really go over too much about like key free agents to help the Chargers. I know we talked a little bit about Osa, Milton, all them. Kind of adding on to your points there. With DJ Reed, I think he'd be a great lockdown corner. As far as we need a number one. We need someone who can guard an alpha on the boundary. And I think Carlton Davis, a little banged up last year with the Lions, I feel like he would make a lot of sense. And then we talked a little bit about Josh Sweat before stream, Dante Fowler on the edges to kind of shore that up. And then Tershawn Wharton, D tackle free agent from the Chiefs, he could hop ship and join a division rival and wreak havoc if they're not wanting to pay him. You know,
I see that hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, how do you feel like all these teams kind of shake out in the division as of now? I mean, the Chiefs, we're gonna pencil them in for the division winner, of course, as of right now. But how do you think the rest of the division shakes out? Is it going to be like last year?
I still think so. I'm gonna go my standings in order. So I'm gonna go Chiefs. It's gonna be close. Chiefs Chargers. So I think Chargers either a game back or they're like a tiebreaker gets the Chiefs in. I feel like that's how it is. I feel like if they build, you know, wisely through the draft and get those, you know, D tackle room under control, I feel like the Chargers can definitely beat the Chiefs, and I feel like the Chargers can definitely take the division. As far as I only think them two are really viably fighting for it. I think let's say you go like 13 wins, and I think the next top is maybe 10 or 11 wins, so I think it's not as close. And I'm gonna give that to the Broncos, maybe sneaking in number 7, number 6, and number 7. And then we're just gonna talk about the Raiders. Yeah, sure, they have all this cap space. You can the answer. You don't always have to throw money at the problem. To a lot of these bad teams, they'll throw money at the problem, and they'll still continue to be bad. It doesn't matter. It's all about a culture change. You think Pete Carroll's going to come in and really revamp that team year one? I don't think so. But can he do like a Dan Quinn did? Maybe. I don't think he's going to. No, I think Raiders. I think they go maybe. What's that? 6-11.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
I'd say like maybe the hell is it? 13 and say 13. I'd say 13-4 Chiefs. I don't feel like they go like 15-2 that year or next year. And I say Chargers 14-3. It's one of those like.
Oh, you're saying the Chargers are winning the division?
I think they could take it if they get their D line under control. And I feel like just consistency. You'd like to see that. See what the Chiefs can do with limited cap space. I'm not just saying that because you're a Chargers fan or anything like that. I kind of believe that. I mean, if they get their number 2 receiver outside of Ladd, they get some offensive line and D line help, and like you said, a corner. It's easy. It sounds like it'll be something that they can really get to it. They can really get done. I feel like that's given the cap space too, and given how the draft could possibly shake out as well. I feel like these teams. I feel like the Chargers are more ready to take the division. The Chiefs, they need pass catching help. They need some, offensive line help, and they need some back end help, I believe, too, safety or something like that. I think, but just want to look at it and say that I think the Chargers are ready. I think the Chargers are finally ready to take down the Chiefs. And if the Raiders come back and shock everybody and win the division while everybody else goes, 4-13, then.
No. I'll put my life savings. They don't even sniff the playoffs.
Yeah, for real.
There's no way. I mean,
6-11.
I like that prediction a lot. Who are they going to get at quarterback is my question. Their main guys right now are Russell Wilson and Sam Darnold, and
I don't know. I don't like either of those really. But if I had to pick Sam Darnold, I don't. Like, yeah, Sam Darnold was all right with the Vikings and stuff like that. What was it, 14-3 team? But then in the playoffs, he really got exposed. He got exposed, and I believe that it's mainly system for him. Because when you look at a team like the New York Jets, and when he played for the New York Jets, he was dog water. Same thing with Zach Wilson. I'm not going to say that they're the same type of quarterback, but you got to look at it this way, like. I don't think Sam Darnold goes on and has any type of success like he did last year. Nowhere close. Like I said, 6-11. Take it or leave it. Put a bag of Doritos on
it. and I agree, because you look at the scheme fit as well. Chip Kelly, someone who likes to hurry up the offense. Sam Darnold likes slowing things down. He likes compartmentalizing the game. He likes finding his spots, taking some time, and then delivering. With a Chip Kelly offense, I just feel like he's not going to be able to process everything at one time.
So simplify it, maybe 1-2 read, and that's it. 1-2 step, maybe something, maybe more 3-step drops, maybe more quick passing game, something quick that's going to give him a nice hot read. Because if you're sitting there and you're asking him to throw like we're going to go Madden here, 4 verticals, right? And you're throwing against like a complex coverage, maybe a disguise zone coverage or whatever. Sam Darnold's not gonna be able to process all that in time, and I feel like getting right up into that hurry up offense as well, like you said. Let's say you go right back to it, and another route comes, or another concept comes where it's tough. Like you said, you don't think you compart. You think he wants to slow down and
compartmentalize? Yeah, it's a hard word, huh?
No, man, it's not a hard word. I just sound like I'm retarded or something. We're not gonna talk about that. All right, bear with me, y'all. I don't know. Like you said, Chip Kelly too fast for him. You think Russell Wilson would be a better fit in that offense?
I think he would. It just doesn't raise anything ceiling wise for the team. I think they're in the same boat regardless. The really bad quarterback free agency, and I mean, even the quarterbacks they trade up for, they have so many positions of need. I just don't see them sacrificing that 6th pick and maybe an additional 1st or 2nd rounder to go up and get a Cam Ward, go up and get a Shadur Sanders. I don't think that's in the cards.
What are they picking right now?
They're picking 6th.
6th, right. Yeah, and Cam Ward, Shadur are definitely off the board by them for sure.
I think they go. I mean, Shadur is taking a little bit of a hit recently in the media. However, I don't think he falls outside of the top 4.
Somebody on another podcast I was listening to was asking, man, TikTok. All right. I'll talk to you after. I'll talk to you afterwards about that. But a violation for hate speech, apparently. I guess they got me.
Oh,
got me for talking about myself. But yeah, got me for talking about myself. But anyways, we'll talk about it. What about Joe Dart? A lot of people were saying that his combine was his throwing, was decent at the combine, and I heard on another podcast talk about him moving up into round 1, top round 1. But I think that might have just been blowing smoke. I don't know. I was going to ask you what you thought about it.
I don't know who this Joe Dart character is. He might be a brother of Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. My bad. Joe Dirt.
No, he was throwing really good at the combine. Again, he looks like a 2nd round, 3rd rounder to me. Someone you could possibly wait on and take a flyer on. Is a Jackson Dart for sure.
Joe Dart. No, it's Joe Dart. Gotta change his name.
Joe Dart.
Joe Dirt. I don't know. I guess I was thinking about that movie.
Say so fast, it seemed like Joe Dart become Joe Dirt. Becoming a whole new man. But yeah, I think because Titans are really high on Abdul Carter as of right now, despite the surgery in his foot. And then I think the Browns, I think they're tired of Deshaun Watson. I think they finally go out and get a guy in the draft again, and you're back to ground zero.
What are they going to do? Wait a minute. I want to ask, speaking of Deshaun Watson, what's going on with Justin Tucker? I mean, I heard his wife backed him and all that stuff. His wife believes him, but at the same time, multiple people coming out with the same accusation. And it's not like you're a high-profile quarterback that just signed $234 million. $234 million deal. You're a kicker that's been on the Ravens for just about your entire career.
And who sucked last year, to be frank with you. And more allegations came out since the first ones came out. And when they're dogpiling like that, when so many things come out against you, it's hard not to believe it. And of course, innocent until proven guilty.
No, he touched his woman. He did what he did.
I think so as well, but you never know. There's been some crazy situations in the NFL. Matt Araiza being one of them, where he had SA allegations against him, and they were false, and it almost ruined his NFL career. Being one of the highest touted punters out of the NFL draft, he got drafted 5th round as a punter, which is insane to think about, and his career almost being done because of that. So again, innocent until proven guilty. Do I think it's a little bit strange, and does it lead me to believe certain things because all these allegations are coming out? Of course.
Speaking of which, the Diddler just joined on TikTok, so
perfect timing. Diddler
man.
loves his conversations. Goodness me.
400 likes on the stream and 82 people on strong. Let's keep going.
Heck yeah.
Well,
Heck yeah.
As far as we got to go, that's the AFC West for you. I mean, we can sit here and talk about, allegations and Justin Tucker and D. Watt and let's go back to Adrian Peterson, Ray Rice, and Michael Vick. I mean, but...
God, no, not the legal stream, not the criminal stream.
Yeah, let's leave that one alone. And next week, we're gonna hit the AFC North. You ready for that?
Oh yeah.
So maybe we could start compartmentalizing two of these divisions in each one. So we'll do AFC North and then starting the NFC, we'll probably do 2 divisions. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you get your social media. There's shorts there for you. Go look at them. We're gonna start making some more, and we'll also be back here with every Saturday with more of this breakdown while the off season, while the other podcasters are taking a nap and waiting for the next season. We're here breaking down what teams need, breaking down what they're going to do, breaking down how the season's going to fare out, and breaking down how, certain moves in certain time periods help. So we'll be here every Saturday. So or Sunday, Sunday today. So
Sunday on occasions, yeah. Where life takes a toll. It's all good.
All right, thanks for joining in with us, everybody. This has been, the Final Whistle Podcast, AFC West Edition. We'll be back for AFC North next week, like we said on Saturday. You guys enjoy the rest of your, weekend and week, and it's been JDB Sports. Don't forget the name. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We'll even think about making a Facebook page one of these days. So follow us there too.
All the socials, baby.
All right,
take care, y'all.
All right, see y'all.